Hello, Clement Chinaka is the CEO of Old Mutual Corporate and he joins us now. Clement, good day. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Stephen.
Why did Old Mutual Corporate start with the Wisdom Forum? What's the main idea?
The Wisdom Forum is a thought leadership event by Old Mutual Corporate. The main idea here is we choose topics every year that are very topical at the cutting edge of current affairs that we believe have got an impact in the business operating environment. So if you look at, for example, the topic that we had last year, we were asking the question, is globalization crumbling? The previous year, we were talking about entrepreneurship. And this year, we have come up with populism and economic reform. So those are all topics that talk to the operating environment and how that we believe is actually relevant for corporates who are our customers.
I mean, the obvious thing with populism, what you see happening around the world, you've got Trump, you've got Brexit, you have populism of a sort in South Africa as well. Is it making life harder or maybe just more interesting for corporates to operate?
What we see is it makes the environment in which we operate a little bit more difficult, because with populism, the key issue about it, I think a distinguishing issue of populism is the us and them aspect of it. It's one part of the population calling the other part enemies, effectively. So that's not exactly a conducive environment in which to do business.
It's harder in a way because business always wants to appeal to everybody. If you sell cornflakes, you want everyone to buy your cornflakes. You come against a Donald Trump type figure, Fox News very much does us and them. To sell cornflakes, you have to then appeal to people who are being divided by leaders because those leaders succeed on division. Strangely, it's the corporates and their products that can almost unite us.
That's the hope. We actually hope that we can bridge the divide and make sure that all we do as corporates is to raise the living standards of everybody so that we don't have these divides. Because what we see, some of the key reasons for populism is there are disaffected people who feel left out in economic development. While the world has been motoring since World War II, there are people who feel left out, and those people will feel what's in there for us. And what's important is for corporates to make sure that, number one, what we do lifts up everybody in the community. That's the key point.
So you do that, I suppose, through education, which corporates can get involved in, and many do. You can do it through empowerment, internships. I suppose there is also the idea of trying somehow to reduce inequality in our country, racialized inequality. Corporates can only go so far, but those are important interventions that corporates can make, because each life you change, each person you empower, is a big change for that person.
It is a big change for that person and the dependents around them. There is a statistic, whose source I don't know, that you change one life, it actually impacts 10 more people, especially in a country where we have high dependency ratio like ours. So it's very important. And what we see is, as corporates, there are lots of things that we can do to help. Yes, you mentioned education. Education is one. And then there is just general training. There are people, especially those who feel left behind, is because technology has moved on and has made some jobs redundant. You need to retrain people so that they become more relevant to the new economy. And then we also look at some of the job creation opportunities out there, because corporates are the ones that make jobs available. The bigger corporates should need to band together with the SMEs, because we all know SMEs create more jobs than corporates, especially in developing economies like ours. So if larger corporates and SMEs work together, the whole economy moves together. Also, paying taxes. Corporates should try as much as possible to make sure that they pay their fair share of taxes. Right now, you've just listened, there is this paradise papers, people doing all sorts of things to try and avoid paying tax, which doesn't help. So I think corporates need to pay their fair share of taxes. And then we also have the question of elites. Corporate executives, there is this whole thing about executive pay. How fair is it? So people need to make sure that the executive pay is seen to be fair, and we don't have too much of a difference, which is very difficult to justify sometimes. And then, of course, finally, corporates can do a lot in terms of making sure that people are all working together, deal with things like differences, the racism thing that you talk about. If corporates are inclusive in the workspace and everybody feels they are working towards the same goal, that's what we can do. Of course, we can't do everything, but we also can't sit back and say, wait for government, because government also can only do so much.
Clement Chinaka, thank you so much.